It's election day, but make it from the lens of the LGBTQIA community. That's my show today. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Up and Out. I'm your host, LaPortia. Loving the look. You know, I love me a good hip hop, baggy, just really stylish look. All right. I'm having a great t-shirt day, in the words of my uncle. All right. So it's election day in multiple states. I know if you're like, how did I miss this? It's probably because you're living in an area where it's not happening. So no need to feel dumb. That's what I'm here for. Throughout the show, we're going to focus on the election issues that are super important to the LGBTQIA plus community. There are so many different things that we're covering within that. But first, we're going to start with an overview of the issues that are very important to everyone as a whole. Tuesday's trip to the poll isn't as bombastic and busy as the election day this coming next year. But political analysts say some of 2023's key races could foreshadow what lies ahead, of course. So the Advocate Channel's John Laurent reports. Take a listen.
Election Day 2023 features a few statewide races for elective offices, and some cities are electing mayors. Relatively low-key. But that doesn't mean this Tuesday should be glossed over. In Ohio, residents will determine two ballot measures, one that would create a law legalizing marijuana, and the other that would enshrine the right to abortion in the Buckeye State's Constitution.
There have been 6 abortion rights ballot measures that have taken place since the Dobbs decision, and in each case, the abortion rights side won in those, so Ohio would be the 7th, which to me is an indication of how popular abortion rights are in this country.
Over in Kentucky, Democratic Governor Andy Beshear is running for re-election against GOP challenger Attorney General Daniel Cameron.
It's a very red state that has only elected, I believe, 3 Republican governors in the last 75 years.
And then there's Virginia, where voters will decide the balance of power for both chambers of state government.
Historically speaking, the party that wins the state Senate, at least the last few cycles, has done very, very well in the next year's presidential race.
Speaking of 2024, polling from the New York Times and Siena College shows former President Donald Trump is leading President Joe Biden in 4 swing states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, and Nevada. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The LGBTQIA plus community is participating and being seen in the election like never before. So, I had to bring in Alex Cooper, our political expert, to really break down 3 different things, all right? The LGBTQ plus races that we need to be watching, Alex, how we are seeing a record for LGBTQ political candidates this year like never before, and what Virginia state's election may mean for LGBTQIA plus people in the community as a whole. All right, so let's get right to it. I'm so happy to have you. What are some key state elections that we need to be watching, friend?
Yeah, so right now, all across the U.S., there's local elections, state elections that are up for grabs. Specifically in Ohio, Virginia, and Pennsylvania, people are looking at those because of abortion rights being on the ballot. In Virginia specifically, you have a lot of concerns over LGBTQ plus rights due to the Governor Youngkin's positions that advocates have called anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ plus, specifically around students, policies in schools, and also pronouns that students can use at schools.
Okay, so I find that to be very interesting. What do you think makes 2023 a very important election?
This is a litmus test for Biden, to be fair. 2024 next year, this is, 1 year to go. So a lot of people are saying that this is, a litmus test for Biden, what we can expect for next year and the next presidential election. Again, state and local positions are up in the air, and that includes school boards and their importance in local government, how they affect local school systems, from banned books being banned related to with books that are related to race or LGBTQ plus topics. Um, so that's also something to look out for.
Now, I want to go back to the last question real quick. So, I mean, you're such a great journalist, you're such a great writer. And so I'm very curious, what do you like? Which race in particular are you like, all right, Portia, but I don't really know if our community knows this. And this is why this is super important to us here at Equal Pride.
Yeah, I mean, one election that is really standing out in my mind is Danica Rome in Virginia. She's been a Virginia state delegate for several years and has won several elections. She's an out trans woman, and she's looking to join the Virginia Senate. Um, and her campaign has been a little bit difficult because her competitor has issued some transphobic campaign flyers and whatnot. So it's been interesting to see. And Danica has repeatedly said, like, she has a record that she's campaigning on her record as already a state representative in Virginia.
Okay. And are there any people within the LGBTQIA community where it's really looking in their favor? Because we also want to always make sure we're highlighting the positive outcomes as well.
Yes. So besides Danica, there are several LGBTQ plus candidates that we're looking out for. Specifically, there's one in Mississippi, um,
Okay.
Mississippi and New Jersey. In Mississippi, you have Fabian Nelson, who is most likely, I mean, it's like pretty much assured that he's going to be the first out state legislator. In
Okay.
August, he won the Democratic primary. Um, so it's kind of like a shoe in for that.
Okay, well, we love to hear that, especially when we're talking about Mississippi, Alex. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not like it gives the most progressive, and I do know some people in the political landscape out there, actually. So that's really great. So, how would you say that 2024 is shaping up, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, there was a recent poll that came out from the New York Times and Siena College. It doesn't look favorable to Biden at the moment with this latest poll, but we also know how polls can be. But with that said, Biden is trailing Trump. In Trump, he was the likely Republican candidate for president. Um, Biden is trailing him in 5 of the 6 key battleground states. But
Okay.
again, there's one more year. People have said they're disappointed in um, Biden's approach to the economy, even though the economy is kind of, it's doing pretty well. And also, an age has been a factor. But again, we have one more year.
I know that you said that this is a litmus test for Biden. Um, Listen, Biden needs to sit his ass down somewhere because there is something to be said about when it's time for the old guard to pass the baton so that more people can be known, and there can be a competitive advantage to someone going across Trump, because as insane as Trump makes some people, we cannot deny the fact that he still has a strong base. And for the fact, I mean, for everything that went down on January 6th, for this to still be a thing, Alex, tells me
I mean,
everything I
Trump
need to know.
is indicted. Like, he's facing criminal charges, and he is
I know, because
still,
he's facing them here
yeah.
in Atlanta, in Georgia. So I'm literally thinking to myself, there has to come a point where we say, all right, even though we don't like this man, there is something about this man that a lot of people like, to the point where they can overlook him being indicted, to the point where they can overlook what happened at the Capitol, to the point where they can, overlook so many different things. And so I am very interested to see how this works out. So honestly, Alex, I can't wait to have you back again. Thank you so much for joining me. And we're gonna see how this play out. We're really gonna see how this play out. I got
Yeah,
my
we
eyes.
will. And remember that on Wednesday, November 8th, is the next Republican debate.
All right. Listen, that's it for today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow Girls. Peace out. A-Town down.